Hey, so I got one for you. I learned something super valuable a long time ago in the Bahamas. So I used to go to this island down in the Bahamas called Harbor Island. It's fucking super small. It's like 3 miles long, like half-mile wide, pink sand beaches, super fine sand. It's an amazing island. And what's cool about it too is you can't just fly there, right? You gotta fly into Nassau and then spend the night and then take a boat to get over there, or I think if you just make it, there's a Bahama air flight that's 15 minutes, just whoop, whoop, up and down to get in there. But even then, that lands on North Eleuthera, and then you got to take a ferry over. Anyway, so the only real way to get there is either by paying the ass, or if you take your own boat there. And what's interesting is that particular place really just attracts very large boat owners. like it's the amount of crazy yachts that I would see pulling there would be insane. And this is when I first started really started to travel the world. And I was 23, I think, something like that, maybe 24. And I was hanging out one night at this place called Valentine's Marina, and it's an outdoor bar on the it's also their yacht club, if you will. So that's where the docks are. And then there's this nice outdoor bar. It's all lit up at night. And it's perfect weather. I think I was down there in November or something. And everyone's talking about boats and their boats and this and that. And they'll have. That's when I first learned how yacht people or boat people, they have a shirt that has a picture of their boat on it, but it's all the exact same way. It's the architect's side profile shot drawing of their boat on a shirt, and then everyone that's on that boat wears that shirt. So it's a thing. Still don't get it, because I think it'd be cool as shit if you had your boat done, but you made it a fucking sponsorship. You had some crazy, team logo and a fucking numbers on the back with your names. Go fucking all out. Just do the side of the boat and there's a little architecture drawing picture of it. No man, if you're going all out, man, get the crazy jersey action going on. Get yourself a mascot. I mean, you got cool creative names for your boats. Go all in. There was a buddy of mine down in Puerto Rico. I lived in this kind of an expat community called Palmas del Mar, and they have a yacht club over there as well. And a buddy of mine had this boat. It was fucking nuts. So he's a die-hard fisherman. This thing had 4 fucking outboard engines on the back. It was ridiculous. I think he spent over $750,000 just on the 4 engines alone, maybe even more. It was nuts. I've never seen anything but that thing can haul ass. Holy shit. It's huge center console boat. But what was awesome about their boat is the dude had his boat wrapped. So the bottom of the boat was called Twin Brothers. And the bottom of the boat had this really cool, I think it was actually designed by a tattoo artist, of these designs that goes all around the boat and had their logo on it. And they had their shirts that matched with the same design though. That was cool as shit. I'll see if I can find a photo of it. But yeah, so I think more people should be doing that. Anyway, let's get back to the whole point of this. So I'm in the Bahamas one night. I'm at this bar, having some drinks with people, meeting a bunch of these older dudes, and asking them how the hell they made all their money. And that's my dog fighting with the other dog. So that's what they do. I've had to build up a fence between them. Sorry. I had to put a fence on top of the fence because this fence was too low because it's Mastiff versus Mastiff. And then it's too flimsy, so I had to reinforce with these steel bars. Then my dog ripped out one of the posts that was bolted into the concrete ground trying to get at the other dog. So then I put up this tarp so this way they can't see each other, but that doesn't help. Such a pain in the ass. And now it's yeah, they'll be, nope. There we go, man. That's crazy. So, a long while ago, my neighbors, they have a 160-pound bull mastiff, and it's super fluffy. And he's not even a year old. I mean, this dog is huge. And he's got water on the knee or something, so he wears this brace that goes around with it. It makes him look like he's wearing a workout belt. So it looks like this dog is training. This dog is so huge, but he's such a doofus. But it's so awesome. And the neighbors, it's called ASPCA on them. They said they had a mountain lion as a pet. They came to the house. We're like, we heard you have exotic animals in the back. It's just two dogs, two big ass bull mastiffs. But yeah, so that was hilarious. Anyway, so back to the boat thing. So I'm hanging out at the bar and talking to all these dudes with their boats, and they're all bragging about what they got and their features and this and that. I don't know shit about boats. I'm like the fucking, dum-dum from up in the city. And so as we're hanging out and talking, all of a sudden this dude pulls up in a yacht that was massive. I mean, it took like the whole back end thing. It was huge. I mean, this thing had like a little jacuzzi on the back end of it, and it was all lit up, and it had, it was all nice and stuff, and it was crazy. And this dude comes walking in with his crew. They all got their boat shirts on, like, hey, everyone's all saying, hey, what's going on? Everyone, no one knows each other, but everyone's like all having a great time. But you could tell it was like all the other dudes that had the smaller boats are also like, oh man, the dude with the big boat's here. It's like, fuck, my boat's not as cool. But then they're all like, now they're all dry humping this dude about his boat's like, dude, that boat is so sick. Oh my god, what is that thing? Where'd you get? How long you had blah? Like, just asking all kinds of questions and shit. And basically, all of a sudden, everyone wanted to be his friend. And this dude is living the life, right? I mean, he's just eating up this attention like none other. Like, yeah, that's right, whatever. I mean, he wasn't being a dick about it like that, but you could just tell that everyone was like eager to know this guy, and he was loving every second of it. But in a good way, not in a douchey way. But, so we're all hanging out, and this dude's buying drinks for everybody and everything, and all the crews that were cleaning other people's boats, he basically just hired them all to then, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, to just go and start working his boat and start cleaning his boat while they're there. And then, while we're hanging out, we're about 3 or 4 drinks in, everyone's having a good time, this other boat pulls up. So big, it couldn't even fucking anchor in. It couldn't come in to get on it. This thing fucking docked off of the shore, and it lowered another boat into it. And then they took that boat in. Now, this other boat had a freaking helicopter on top. And, I mean, it was insane. This thing dwarfed that other yacht. It's like a little small floating village. It's like, what do you need a big-ass boat like that for? So this dude, his crew comes zipping in on their little, their other boat that they have. And this thing, then they dock and they all come, hey, what's going on? And all of a sudden, everyone's like, what? Everyone's all freaking out about this dude's boat. And he's like, hey, what's up? And all of a sudden, but out of the corner of your eye, you see the other guy who had all the attention and was loving it. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, I don't have the biggest boat anymore. There's this guy. Like, fuck. But of course, at the same time, he's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, welcome, come on in. So everyone has a good time, but you could see that shift. And it's it's just like an instant, but you can see it, and like physically in these guys' faces where they're like, oh man, I had the biggest boat up until now, and then the next dude comes in, and then he gets that title taken away from him. And then that's when I learned a very, very valuable life lesson that I have taken with me still to this day. It's been literally 20 years now. And that is, there's always someone with a bigger boat. So, if you spend your life trying to chase the unattainable, which is literally just, I want to be the best at something, or I want to have the biggest thing, or I want to have the most whatever, I want to be the richest person, and this and that, it won't matter. You'll never get there, because there's always somebody with a bigger boat. So if you're constantly trying to compare yourself with the unattainable, you will just be living a state of constant disappointment. And that sucks, especially if you're doing well. And this is something like I've struggled with recently, which is bizarre. Like, I've never been so financially well off in my life. But yet, right now, I feel the most unsecured, which is bizarre. It makes no sense, right? So, anyway, good lesson. Don't try to get the biggest boat, because there's always someone out there with a bigger boat. Be happy with what you have. Enjoy what you have. I heard this guy say something that was just like stuck in me hard, right? So he was talking, I was like, okay, I want you to think about this. You're, 80 years old, you're on your deathbed, you're dying. Like, the doctors came in and said, hey, you only got a couple hours left to live. I'm just trying to, your family's all here, they all want to see you. And now Your family walks in, you got your wife or your husband, whatever, and your kids, they come in, even maybe some grandkids, they're like, hey, we miss you, we love you, whatever. And you can feel the life draining out of your body and you're dying. And you know that feeling. It's that feeling of sorrow, like, fuck, I want more time with them. I wish I could go back in time and see this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, at that moment, it's the finite of your life. And then all of a sudden, like, a fucking magical fairy comes out of nowhere and then asks you, hey, I'm gonna give you a chance to start over. How's that sound? And you fucking take that shit and it zips you back all the way to right now. You're no longer in your deathbed. You're now you in your place where you are right now with everything you have and all the people around you and your kids at the age that they are and your wife or your significant other, you know, as happy to see you as they are now and the world the way it is now versus how it was then. What do you do now? This is what you should be focused on. That instantaneous gut reaction that you just had of holy shit, I want to go hug the shit out of my kids. That's what you should be doing. It's like, oh man, you know what? I'd kill to just disappear for a weekend with my girlfriend or whatever. It's like, do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're constantly working and struggling to do these crazy, insurmountable things because you have that drive. For those of us that out there that have that nonstop hustle harder mentality, you don't see that there's never an end. You're just like, I'm gonna fucking just push and I'm gonna grind my ass and fucking, I'm gonna take the world on and I'm just gonna fucking run as hard as I can and I'm not gonna stop until I make it. The problem is there's no make it. that's the thing. And when you talk to massively successful people that are doing like way better than I've ever done in my life, dudes are fucking pulling hundreds of millions and whatever, you talk to them, they never made it either. They're still struggling to get to where they think they need to be safe and secure for how they want. So it's like, forget all that shit. You have one moment to live right now, and it's fleeting because it's no longer going to exist like this ever again. So take the time now, enjoy what you can now, because when you're 80 years old on your deathbed, it's too late. And it ain't gonna matter how much you worked, and it ain't gonna matter how much money you have. Obviously find the balance, but spend time and enjoy what you can now. So, yeah, that's it. Later.